TAFS is leading the charge to make the 2024 Broker Carrier Summit possible, and we are so excited to have their support. In case you haven't heard, TAFS offers much more than freight factoring. It provides a comprehensive support system for trucking companies of all sizes, specializing in fast and efficient invoice factoring with the ability to pay carriers in as little as 1 hour. And TAFS services go well beyond factoring, offering a fuel card that unlocks major fuel discounts, flexible business loans that are designed to cater to the distinct needs of a carrier's operations, a dedicated, responsive client experience team, and much more. Blackbox Logistics is a 3PL freight brokerage based out of Birmingham, Alabama. Blackbox Logistics was formed in 2020 by 3 friends, Logan Dyer, William Graves, and Will Hopkins, in a basement office with the goal of bringing transparency around the clock communication and hassle-free customer experience to the table. LoadBase is a logistics software solution that simplifies the process of tracking carriers. Multi-service fuel card, the industry's first fuel card, was created by an over-the-road truck driver in 1978 to offer a safe, simple, and cost-effective way to handle fuel and trucking expenses. Initially, it addressed safety concerns of carrying cash on the road. Today, it combats advanced fraud with best-in-class technical and personal support. Sales-CRM is built for freight broker and agent sales teams. Manage your shipper prospecting and follow-ups. Organize your carriers in the lanes they run. HD Ships is a leading logistics provider specializing in sustainable and tech-driven freight solutions. With hubs in Reno, Phoenix, and London, we deliver comprehensive services, including full truckload, expedited cross-border, and intermodal freight. Leveraging proprietary technology, we offer 24/7 tracking, real-time visibility, and advanced automation to ensure safe, compliant, and efficient transportation. Our commitment to sustainability enables clients to offset emissions through carbon credits, aligning logistics with environmental goals. At HD Ships, we prioritize transparency, reliability, and exceptional customer service, empowering clients to achieve seamless, sustainable logistics solutions worldwide.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. How are you?
Doing good, man. Enjoying spring's finally here. So how about you?
Yeah, man, it's warming up down here, and you'll be back in Columbia soon, right?
Yeah, next week. Excited. I'm excited. I'm going to a new city this time in Columbia, so it'll be fun.
Which one is that?
I can't pronounce it very well, but Branakila.
Close enough.
Yeah, so I'm not going there for too long, but I'm going to check out that city. But yeah, shout out to our sponsors, Multi-Service Fuel Card. Been around since 1978, I think. Really long time, great company. I think I saw Patricia just got promoted to director of sales there, or something. I just saw on LinkedIn.
Awesome.
Black Box Logistics, Will's company, HD Ships. If you're looking to be an agent, love to chat with you. Load Base. We had Stan on a few weeks ago. Great tracking service. You've demoed it.
Yeah, we had Stan on a couple episodes back. It's a live tracking platform. They also support Mexican phone numbers, which not a lot of people do. So great product. We got Sales Dash CRM. Black Box uses Sales Dash. We love it. It's a freight centric platform built out. They just rolled out a new update where you can tag your lane. So great product. We love Sales Dash. And then we are brought to you by TAFS, Top 10 Factoring Company. Also have a lot of good educational content. If you guys are interested in a new factoring company or just want to check some rates, get in touch with those guys. Then yeah, episode 53. I'm excited about this one. Reed's quite the character.
Yeah, should be fun. I'm excited. They've had a lot of cool stuff going on with Truck Parking Club, a lot of growth, and it'll be fun. I know I've talked to Reed when Alex and I used to do a podcast a year and a half ago. I think that was before he was at Truck Parking Club. So yeah, it'll be cool to talk about TPC and what he has going on. I wonder if he's live. We didn't ask him. I wonder if he's at TIA, taking a break from TIA.
No, he's at HQ. You can see the taped up papers and stuff. He's at home.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, and if you're tuned into the show right now, you're probably familiar who Reed is. He's the CMO at Truck Parking Club, also founder of LostFr8, and he's a big meme guy. He's quite the personality. If you don't follow him on LinkedIn, he's a great profile to connect with, and we'll go ahead and throw him on stage. Reed, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
What's up, guys?
Happy.
Tell me if the music's too loud.
You're good, man. Do your thing.
No, it's good to be here with y'all. I've watched from afar, and I like your intro segment there. It's good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so we forgot to shout out Trio. They do all of our back end offshore company. They do some staffing out of the Philippines. Black Box has a few workers through them, but they do all of our graphics, intro videos, them.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so man, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, right? Like we want to talk about Truck Parking Club and everything that's going on. But we were kind of talking pre-show, and you posted a little bit about it. You've got a big move coming up. Yeah, man. Fill us in. I know that you've alluded to some content rolling out. I'm sure it'll be hilarious. You tune along, but yeah, fill us in on why you're moving and what that looks like, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I am relocating myself and my family, my fledgling family, to the great state of Tennessee. And I would say there's a variety of reasons, but I would say the number one is because we're gonna mix things up a little bit out there. We've got some Truck Parking Clubs has some plans. I got some plans, and yeah, we're just gonna get out there. Evan lives there, so we'll be together more. But beyond that, man, we're just gonna put down some roots and just see what grows. If you know what I'm saying.
You're gonna be a block from. I think I was reading a tweet from Dooner. You're gonna be a block from Dooner's house.
Yeah,
too?
Dooner's about to be smoking me a lot of meats. I know he's recently acquired a smoker, so I'm gonna smell it and I'm gonna walk over there, bug him.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, well, that's a great place to be in our industry. Obviously, there's lots of freight brokers, just logistics space. I mean, FreightWave's based out of there, as you mentioned, Dooner. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that you're moving to Chattanooga. No, very cool.
The real question is going to be, though, once you live in Chattanooga, because you started in logistics in Chicago, and there's always the debate between which is the capital.
I honestly, I would see the Chicago. I love Chicago. Don't get me wrong. I would, if circumstances were, I mean, I lived there for a bit, so circumstances were different, I might still be there. But nonetheless, I won't denigrate Chattanooga's space. It punches above its weight, that's for sure. It's a lot smaller than Chicago is, but I mean, I wouldn't even compare the two. But no, it's gonna be good, man. I got a buddy of mine, TJ, who owns a trucking company called Pacific Coast Transport, PCT, and Santa Barbara Freight. He's got like 75 trucks or something like that, and he's volunteered to help me move. So he's gonna be helping me load some freight, and I'm going to drive with him across the country, in 2 weeks. I don't think I've said this yet publicly. So not that it really matters. I mean, whatever. I mean, you guys are find out one way or another, but yeah, so that's the plan. It should be interesting. TJ's a character in his own right, and this is a marketing exercise for him. So I think he's expecting a lot out of me. So we'll see what I'm able to produce.
Hunter's working for him now too, right? Hunter from the logistics launch.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, TJ's actually recruited drivers off Twitter. He's an interesting dude. He's honestly someone you should have on the show. He's a lot more interesting than I am. That's for sure.
We should have TJ on the show. TJ would be a good guest. I haven't talked to him in a while, but
yeah, and that guy likes to yap. So I don't, he might be, shirtless in the truck stop shower stall when he does the show, but it'll still be good.
That's something. So man, I mean, forgive me. You might have said this. So they're loading up their trailers, right? Like their asset trailers. What kind of trailers are they?
I don't know the exact specs. I know he's got a lift gate though. So we're gonna load my stuff, and we're gonna get out of town, and we're gonna team drive to Chattanooga. So we'll see. You guys, I don't know how it's gonna happen yet, but I mean, you'll probably know when I know. So
okay.
So stay tuned.
Are you transporting the LostFr8 HQ there?
Hell yeah, man! I can't forget my roots. I'm gonna have those papers till I die. They'll probably just look just like that too. Although they have been absolutely. I mean, I've got a Freightgon one. I got this one, and they've been stained by the sun and the dust of the Arizona desert, and so they've got a nice patina now. Yeah, so don't expect me to lose those anytime soon.
Very cool. Well, yeah, man, fill us in a little bit on Truck Parking Club. I mean, I think anybody tuned in will be aware of truck parking and kind of like what you guys do. But is there any exciting things happening over there? Any rollouts or anything that you guys are focused on beyond just expanding the truck parking itself?
I mean, the whole thing is, in my opinion, pretty exciting. There's a lot of good momentum. We just had Matt's 2 weeks ago, and we brought a lot of the team together and assembled our fleet and put on a pretty good booth for the show, and a lot of good stuff happened there, and it was good for the team too. But just in general, I mean, we've got a tremendous squad, a good cast of characters. And that's going to continue to be the case. And we're working on an important issue, and we've got a unique solution that is part of the overall solution to truck parking, quote unquote. But yeah, man, it's going to be a good story, and we're doing it in an interesting way, and we've got interesting characters, and we're really focused on adding more locations. I mean, we've got 1,750 something right now. We're trying to add 4,000 this year, which is a huge number. We added 1,000 last year. So really just expanding options and just spreading the word is kind of the name of the game. But yeah, I mean, it's super interesting, man. Yeah. I'm coming up on a year of doing it full time. I had done a bit of work on the side with the guys. I met Evan 2 years ago at a FreightWaves conference, and we kind of just became friends, and we started working together on the side a bit, and then I did that, and then I joined, and it's been I can't believe it's been a year. It feels like it's been 10. But it's been good, man. It's been really good. So I don't know if that answers your question exactly, but our big initiative is just more locations. You probably won't ever see us talking about too much about the tech or really much anything other than just telling the story about providing more parking. So I won't bore you with the tech details.
No, I mean, I think that that's the the nuts and bolts of it, right? Like what you're saying, it is a big problem, right? Truck parking in general. And then I do kind of want to backtrack to just y'all's team. So watching from the outside in, it is quite the, as you put it, the squad. You've got Brent Lombard, and then you just some characters out there that you guys have assembled. So it is a good team. I don't know.
Hey man, it's got to be entertaining if you want people to pay attention. Early on, at least before they understand what you actually do and use you. You'd like to you'd like to tell people about what you do in a way that they understand, in a way that they want to pay attention to. And so while it might seem like we're always just doing a bunch of random shit, I mean, which we are, I don't even know if I can curse on here, so forgive me if I can't.
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah, I already broke the rule. Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, and we're having a good time, and we're getting good feedback from drivers, and we're parking more trucks every month than we did the month before, and we got more locations. So it's I'm moving out because we've got some plans to put down some roots, if you will, and there's going to be more to come on that, in the near future, I would say.
I know you brought up locations. I think it's pretty cool. I was looking at your locations recently, and I used to say you guys, had no representation in my home state of Minnesota. And I look now and you guys have like within the last year, you guys must have added 10, 15, a bunch of locations in Minnesota, which was cool to see. Because I think a little over a year ago when I looked, there was no Minnesota, but now you guys have a lot of representation.
We had 300 locations at Matt's last year, and we had 1,600 something this year. And, who knows where we'll have next year, probably, 5,000 plus. Should be good to watch. But yeah, man, we're growing. We're figuring it out. It's fun.
Jose, appreciate you tuning in. He likes your insight read, and then he turned it into a pitch slap for warehousing, but we appreciate you tuning in.
You got it. You can't knock the hustle, but you gotta respect the grinders.
Shameless. Man, I want to kind of expand or at least explore kind of like what you're talking about. You're like at the beginning, you need to make it interesting and in a way that people can understand it and kind of, and at any point, correct me if I'm wrong or you see this differently, but from like watching your journey and how you navigate the marketing in general, just not just Truck Parking Club, but yourself, that's kind of like your style. And it's fun, it's funny, but it's ultimately it's relatable. Right. And I mean, can you kind of like touch on, I don't even know if you want to call it philosophy, but kind of like how you operate with that, because you found a lot of success in being just like human, like a little quirky and like funny with like all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that it's not been anything that was deliberate or planned. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. And I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as a good thing if you know how to. I mean, it can either be a really bad thing or a really good thing, and there's really not much in between. And which is fine for me, because that's how I've realized that I should be living my life. Not to get philosophical, but
there's no rules.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'm just using your words.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think I started. I don't know when I started posting stuff. I think it was on Twitter first for a while, and I met a lot of freight people on Twitter. And I think I just started doing it because I was always scrolling, and so I started following freight people. And then I, just because I'd been a broker for a number of years, and I was in the industry, and I was curious to find other people who were like actually interested in it. And I found that the people I worked with weren't the ones who were interested in it. There were a lot of people who kind of just do their job and go home and try to not think about freight as much as they can, which is fine, if that's what you need to do. But I was interested in talking to people, and so I started talking to people. And I don't need to tell you guys that there's a lot of bullshit you deal with in the day-to-day in these sorts of, like, I say entry level, that's not the right word, more like hands-on roles, right? Like a broker or driver or warehouse worker, like kind of somebody who's interfacing with the other links in the chain, if you will. There's a lot of stuff that happens and is stressful, and grass is always greener, and but there's still humor in it, and there's ridiculous things that happen, and if you can kind of like poke fun at it, then that seems to resonate. But I only ever started doing it because I don't know, I guess it just kind of came naturally. I think a lot of people try to like do something that they're not supposed to do, if that makes sense. And really the only way it works putting yourself out there is if it's like actually yourself. The whole authenticity bit is a bit cliche, because I think I don't I don't think it's quite that simple, but like it is in a sense. You're not going to be able to do it over and over and over and shout into the void, if you will, if you're not having fun writing down what you're saying, if that makes sense. I've kind of rambled here, so hopefully what was the question? Something about my journey? How did I start?
No, that made sense. I mean, I asked you to kind of unpack. I used philosophy behind how you go about marketing and just your posting or anything.
Dude, I used to hate marketing. I thought marketing was like a bad word. I was like, this is like, my dad used to say, you should get into marketing when I was like a sales rep or carrier rep, and I was like complaining to him about my job. He was like, you should learn marketing. You should learn how to write. Yada yada. And I always was like, no, marketing's stupid. Like, why would I ever want to do that? That's so dumb. And I've only lately realized that was an incredibly naive thing to say, which is funny because it should be obvious, but it's not, or at least it wasn't to me. So
Joe.
Shout out Joe.
Joe.
But no, man, it's I don't know. I just like to have fun, and I just post whatever, and sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. And that's just kind of how you got to play the game.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that that's the only way to really find out what does hit. And I've never taken a real marketing class, right? And not that like I have a lot of experience with it, but just doing our black box stuff on my personal page, that's kind of like how I do it as well for the most part. Just like have fun with it, try to tell a story. But I would imagine that I think that a lot of traditional marketing gets that wrong. And it's
that is the benefit that you've not taken a class, in my opinion, and that's why I think your stuff is the way it is. And I think I don't know if I ever pumped your tires, so to speak, but I remember getting on the phone with you probably almost 2 years ago when you were like starting. I don't know if that's when you started, but you were like obviously not where you are now. I was like, damn dude, I could tell you were onto something just by what you were putting out. I was like, I should know this guy, So,
no, yeah, I remember that, and that was about around the time I had started posting stuff and making some memes, and like that, man, I really enjoyed. So like kind of how you're talking about finding the people that, and I don't even want to say enjoy logistics, but like talking about it, right? Like when you had, I don't know, when we connected, it was like a phone call, and I was kind of, what I experienced a lot is if when I kind of quit replying to my messages, because usually it's like, hey, like call, like connect, and then it just turns into like a quick like sales pitch. Then you called, like we just like kind of kicked it for a bit. I was like, man, like Reed's a cool guy, like save us like whenever. And that was like that connection. Like you never ever try to sell me anything, but if and when you ever if you did try to after that first connection, like I'd be like much more likely to.
Bro, you're giving too many tips to the LinkedIn cold DMers, bro. Everyone's gonna be super chill. Then they're gonna try to sell you shit. Hey, I'm about to call you. I'm gonna sell you something right after this. Trust me, bro.
Yeah. Well, I got to run that after this. I'll be you can say we can text. Yeah. No. We got to. Yeah. And hey, man, maybe if it's but I mean that's another point. So if somebody was tuned into the podcast, they're like, hey, like man, like I listened to like this podcast episode, like what you said, like that's connecting there in itself.
For sure.
Like that,
for sure.
100%.
So it's a human thing, bro. We people overcomplicate this stuff,
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of people hanging out in one spot,
We want people to pump our tires.
I love pumping tires, dude. I'm a good tire pumper.
Oh no, that's great.
Saruv said, interesting to know about the facts.
Shout
Let's
out
go,
Sudan.
baby.
Sudan. Hell yeah.
I don't know which facts, but
What I don't know, man. What's on your guys' mind? What else do you want to know? I don't know anything, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I like to chop it up with people who are doing interesting stuff, and you guys are on. Matt's on his way to Colombia for how many times have you been to Colombia now, bro?
It's only my second. It's my second time ever leaving the U.S. either. Colombia was my first time ever getting a passport and leaving the country.
He doesn't go just a couple of days. He goes down and like stays like the max amount of time that he can stay before he's like deported back to the States.
You can legally spend 180 days a year there.
I hope that one day you go and you never come back. That's what I hope for you. You just get embedded like out in the jungle or something, and you start just like building brokerage offices out in the jungle of Colombia. I don't know if
a
that's
mini
what you're trying to
mecca
do.
of freight out there. I mean, obviously Lean is like based 100. Maybe they have offices in other countries now, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they're all, or at least 90% of it.
Yeah, dude, I've not been down there. I want to go check it out. I think it'd be cool.
It would be cool. Yeah,
It's great for cost of living too. I mean, it's 1/4 the U.S. cost. So like a hamburgers or a haircut is $2. You know, everything is so cheap.
Yeah, well, you're stimulating the local economy, Matt. Thank you for your service.
Exactly.
A hero.
Here.
You can sound there for the cheeseburgers.
They do have good hamburgers. No, I'm being serious. The beef there is like grown there. It's way better than any hamburgers in the U.S.
I might go and visit you this time.
Damn. Well, we got to get down there.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
I was gonna go, but then he bailed. Abby wouldn't let him.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a good, but it doesn't matter. So anyway, Reed, you kind of asked, like, man, so we don't really know what we're doing either with this podcast, right? Like, it's kind of, I mean, I guess it's kind of like the same thing. We just kind of like figure it out as we go, right? And like, we just enjoy having personalities for people around the industry and just kind of like unpacking their brain, getting insight from them. So, yeah, no, we can go wherever with this, right? I mean, I know that we kind of touched on like I don't even want to say like marketing background, for lack of a better term, just kind of like your journey.
I'll allow it.
What was that?
I said I will allow it.
I will allow that.
Marketing background, yeah.
And I want to take this time to formally apologize for when we did the post about having you on the podcast. We left out that you were ex Jimmy John's, and that was wildly disrespectful.
How could you? How could you slight me like that?
Yeah, no. So formal apology to you for that. So tell us about do you still running the LostFr8 Discord?
Dude, I admittedly I've neglected the Discord. I'm sorry. Shout out to all the folks in the Discord who are cranking in there. So I started that, I guess, 2 years and some change ago, and it was originally going to be like a feedback channel for my customers that I had using my LostFr8 tool. But very quickly, because I was just screwing around on the internet, I started just inviting whoever I was talking to, and slowly grew that up, and then started doing events in there, like would do tech events on Tuesday nights and some kind of like more group, like bigger kind of stage stuff with certain guests that I'd met on the internet who were interesting. But I have admittedly neglected it. I haven't done an event in a while, which kind of sucks. But I mean, it just kind of is what it is. Like, I can't do everything, so yeah, my attention is a scarce resource. But I did do that, and there's like probably 1,500 people in there or something like that, and it is super cool. Like, a lot of people have connected in there, and that's good enough for me. So I've never really charged anybody anything. Although I did launch the Freight Gong and get its first sponsors in one of the tech events in there. So I guess I have monetized it to some degree. And I've sold hats in there too. So
there you go. Yeah, now
still selling the hats, or that kind of on the side these days?
I haven't done a hat run since last summer when I sold these visors. But I got some ideas. I got some stuff up my sleeve in that domain. So more to come on that for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Now I joined the LostFr8 Discord. Man, I guess it was like 2 years ago. I joined, and I was active in it for a little bit. Nothing crazy, but I remember like asking for some carriers. It was like Thanksgiving night. It was like
you were going everywhere you could.
Yeah, hitting up the LostFr8 Discord. I remember it was like I texted you off. I was like, "You have anybody in here?" I was spamming everything.
Yeah.
Just like you were talking about, like with you're like, I don't know, op facing workers, right? Like I was, and I still am to an extent, but I was a lot more involved in operations at that point. Like as we're scaling, like self-funded, I'm really involved in like moving freight. And like, that's just a good example of like what you're talking about with freight and logistics, like being in the operations. It's just kind of a lot of shit. So like, I'm talking about like maybe like Thanksgiving night, like I'm just like fucking like sweating and like frantic, trying to find a carrier, like these last minute runs. So I'm just like, hitting up like Discords for carriers and all this stuff. Like, I went to like I don't want to say normal, we're all normal people, but like somebody doesn't work in logistics. They're like, my girlfriend's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Part of it. So now that's very cool. You've got your a lot of different things going on, but it all kind of like works together. So very
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, you can do a lot. You can do a lot if I mean, you can really do anything if you've got a lot of people who pay attention to what you say. And I'm not saying anyone pays attention to what I say. That's not what I'm saying. But like, that idea is true. I mean, there's people on Twitter who like build business empires, like, just by tweeting, basically. So it's something to aspire to, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, 2025, I mean, you're right. There is I don't know, everything's so like tech forward now and all this information and just like you're talking about attention in itself, like all of our attention's on this like digital platforms, right? And if you can source that attention and like eyes, I mean, yeah, you can monetize it or do all kinds of stuff. So no, I think it's really cool. I mean,
you guys are doing that. You've got sponsors,
and we do it to get back to the freight community.
No, it's good, man. Hey, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, they're in it for the money. It's like, dude, that's not the right way to look at it. You know what I mean? Money exchanged means value is exchanged, and if value was exchanged, then you're not giving away money. Like, you're getting stuff in return. So
as long as the value. So yeah, with the podcast, like, we didn't start it to get sponsors or monetize it, right? Like the idea kind of was Matt had done one previously, and then he wanted to do another one, called me, and I was like, you know what? Like I mean, like I shit post on LinkedIn all day talking about logistics. Like, why not go on stream once or twice?
No, it's good
with people.
It's good. It's good. You guys, you're doing it the right way. You're doing it the right way.
It's been we were just talking about, it's been a year. What, in a couple of weeks it'll be a year. Time flies.
It does, man. It does. When you live like we do, it flies.
Or it goes really slow. Just extremes.
Not much in the middle, baby.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it. What else you guys want to talk about?
Well, I guess what's a truck parking club now that you're going to Chattanooga? Are you guys planning on doing some stuff? I know you got some big stuff in the works, but are you guys planning on doing? I was just thinking about this because multi-service or fuel card. There are 4 carriers more, but they have like a card for brokers. Are you guys trying to like work in something where like brokers can like, I don't know, have access to the, I don't know what I'm trying to ask. Basically have access to the truck parking club, do some kind of like, deal for their drivers or anything like kind of collaborating there, since you're going to be in like the brokerage.
I mean, I think just generally, like I'll speak for myself. I know that when I was a carrier rep, there were times where if the paying for a driver to park were the difference between them taking the load and them not taking the load, I would do it. I would have done it, but it just wasn't really an option. And I think brokers all the time probably hear from drivers on their loads, like, does this warehouse, does this pickup, does this delivery, have parking? And I know from my experience that 99% of the time, if I could get an answer from a warehouse, which is not easy, that they wouldn't, that they didn't offer it. And so I think that there's a whole world in the brokerage sphere that we will be able to be the solution that hadn't previously existed. And that I would think it'd be dope if brokers would pay for their drivers to park. You know what I mean? Like, why can that not exist? I think it can. And so, I mean, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, I would think, at least for me, I'm thinking about our particular book of business and particular shippers, right? There's some where it like wouldn't be that important, right? And like kind of these areas where it's not super congested, but like say like there's some where it's like I'm thinking like SoCal, we've got some like port shippers warehouses and the drivers will be lined up down the street. There's no parking and they can't line up on the street, so then they have to leave and they lose their space. It's just like it's a cluster.
Yeah.
Situations like that, it would be like, it's like worth looking into to see if we can add value.
And also a lot of brokers these days are leasing their own trailers, you know what I mean, for drop projects and stuff like that. Like we have, we help people like with drop locations for their trailers. So in that respect, I think, there's a lot of utility. I think we don't really talk about the utility that we provide for brokers, and that's just because they're not our primary audience, right? Like and they're not who ultimately we aim to serve, quote unquote. But that doesn't mean that we can't provide them value, and that doesn't mean we don't want to serve them. It's just that we focus our attention on talking to drivers and talking to fleets. But is that part of why I'm moving to Chattanooga? Not necessarily, although it does, that doesn't mean I won't knock on some doors there. We'll see. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the primary reason is Evan lives there, and we're gonna get in the room more, and we might have our own room, if you will. So yeah, and I wish I could be less vague about it, but there's some stuff up in the air that we got to figure out first. But eventually, in the near future, likely, knock on wood, you guys will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, we'll be excited to see it roll out. I think that you touching on the lease trailers is I didn't think about that. That's got to be a huge use case for the brokers, just trailer pools in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be much more obvious as time goes on. I mean, we do, like, Evan's at TIA right now. Like, Evan and Brent are there, and so we definitely talk to brokers. And a lot of them are interested in purely, not even from the operational standpoint, like we've talked about, but like they're interested in providing a benefit to the carriers that work with them. And obviously we want to facilitate that as well. And anything that can, anyone that's interested in kind of something like that is we're talking to as many of those folks as we can. We just want to get more trucks parked. You know what I mean?
This is kind of a crazy question, but do you guys have any locations that are like brokerage owned, like a big brokerage, puts their their parking space on Truck Parking Club? Do you have any?
Yes.
Like that?
Yeah. So like example, and so there's this company called Logistics Plus. They're a freight forwarder primarily, but I believe they have a brokerage, and they own or lease, a lot of warehousing space, and they might have some extra dock doors where they don't ever use. And they might put those up as parking. I think we've got 9 of their locations. Yeah, I mean, anyone who's got warehousing space, potentially is a fit for us. So forwarders, brokers, trucking companies, anybody really. Those are good spaces because they're often near other places where drivers are delivering too. You know what I mean? So. That could be a great place to park for a variety of reasons.
And speaking of your locations too, I think it's good to reiterate this, but like, as you guys have addressed this too, but a very small percentage of your spaces, right, are, what were previously, truck stops. A lot of them are warehouses, spaces that weren't open.
Yeah.
It's a very much to popular disbelief of maybe a small percentage of drivers, but you're not just taking over every single, truck stop.
Yeah.
Your locations, 90 some odd percent are spaces that weren't, previously paid parking.
I haven't run the numbers recently, but it's like something like between 3 and 4%. It's probably less now because it's been a while, but yeah, somewhere around there are truck stops. And obviously the truck stops themselves are their own business entities that make their own decisions. And so we don't ever just like roll in and like conquer a truck stop. You know what I mean? That's not how it works. Not how it works. And we've talked about that at length whenever that, rears its head, which it does all the time. And we're happy to have those conversations. But yeah, we've talked about that at length. Definitely not our stated goal. Vast majority of our locations are, everything but truck stops. And and to be clear, I mean, there's a lot, like there's this idea of the parking shortage, and I think the ATA parrots stat, 1 truck for every 11 spaces, and we don't know the exact number. I don't think anyone really does, and anyone who wants to lob something out there like that is it's something to pay attention to. But suffice to say, we think that there's potentially millions, tens of millions, who knows the exact number of spaces that exist right now that are already built, that are suitable for truck parking, that aren't being used or aren't available, right? And so our solution in building a marketplace is going out and finding those locations and saying, hey, we know you don't park trucks here right now, but you can, and you should, because it's needed. And fleets and drivers all make the decision to pay to park at those locations. And those business owners, if you own a warehouse or you own, a plot of land, or you own a racetrack, or you own an Amish market, you know what I mean? All locations that we have, they need to be incentivized. It's a transaction, it's a value exchange. And so that's kind of what underlies our business. And we're trying to find all those locations, and we're trying to get them online, and we're trying to make it easy for drivers to get parked at them and to have a good experience. And so that's why we exist.
You said something about Amish land. You guys,
yeah, we have. I don't know how many spaces he has. I believe it's in Ohio, but there's an Amish market.
Hell yeah.
On the platform. So you never know. And the other thing that's interesting that we don't often talk about either is, if you talk to drivers, a lot of them kind of have this kind of rosy colored glass picture of the past, like, a lot of nostalgia in the industry for when, and maybe they're right. I wasn't alive in the 80s or the 70s, or the kind of the golden age of trucking, if you will. But like, if you watch videos, you watch the movies, it's like very romantic, and there's like lots of camaraderie on the road and all this stuff. And I think a lot of drivers I talk to, lament kind of the loss of that. And I think what's interesting about what we're doing long term is that drivers are going to be parking in kind of these more, I don't mean the word random in like a derogatory sense. Like, parking in an Amish market is not normally part of a typical driver's routine, right? So we're going to be able to provide probably an experience that's varied, that they otherwise would never get, right? And so there's value in that beyond just the money you pay, or the value of the parking spot, right? Being able to drive further down the road, knowing you have a spot, whatever, like all those traditional value props you talk about. There's kind of additional value that I think is going to take a long time to be obvious, but eventually it will be.
That makes sense.
What's kind of the biggest, maybe one question I haven't heard is like, what's the biggest objection for people, wanting to rent out their space? Because to me, it seems like it would make sense. I mean, they're not using the space anyways, it's a profit. There's a lot of positives. Is there like one common objection that you guys get that you have to try to, overcome?
I'm not the best person to answer that question, so asterisk on my answer. But I would say that there's a lot of people who think that parking trucks, it will bring problems to their area. You know what I mean? And I don't think that the typical person who calls us and says is saying that, right? That most of our locations are inbound, meaning they're seeing what we're doing and they're reaching out to us. We don't often hear that sort of thing, but I mean, if you just look at the kind of the state of truck parking in general, like a lot of municipalities don't want it. It can be difficult to even build locations that are properly zoned, right? It's expensive. A lot of municipalities don't want it. The neighbors don't want it, right? Nobody quote unquote wants it, which is so there's naturally going to be objections that people have based on that sort of air in the room and that underlying idea. And we don't, and again, like I said, the folks who reach out to us kind of see through that, but that doesn't mean we don't hear like, hey, is it going to be loud, or is there going to be trash left, stuff like that. And those are all issues that we don't not really thankfully really experience right now. And so we're able to kind of combat a lot of those things, and we don't get a lot of that, but like we have a response to it, because we've done hundreds of thousands of bookings so far, and we've got experience, I guess is what I'm saying. And so I think we do a good job of responding to those sorts of questions, and so we wouldn't be where we're at now if we couldn't answer them. So hopefully that makes sense.
100%. And I'm sure some of it too isn't even just the space, but I mean, you have, like, no offense to anyone named Karen, I'm trying to look for a better word. You have some, Karens in the neighborhood or whatever that are, I imagine that's sometimes not even the place. You know, it might be someone down the street or the neighbors, and it's probably better for the perception of trucking as a whole to have, you know, as many locations as you have, because people will see that some of these stereotypes aren't true, and just
Sure.
general people, I would think, would have a better perception, you know, of trucking. So I don't know. At least that's what I would think. You guys are probably changing some people's viewpoints on
That would be
trucking.
a cool side effect. You know what I mean? I can't speak with certainty if that's happening or not. But it'd be cool if it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of I mean, a lot of people who might levy those concerns, right? Like, oh, do they need to be parking there, so to speak? It's like most people don't have any idea. A lot of people, even in the industry, don't even have an idea of how big of a problem it is, right? And you know, and when I say big of a problem, I just mean most importantly from the perspective of the individuals, of the drivers. You know what I mean? Like, it's a huge part of their life every day is figuring out where the hell they're going to park their 70-foot long vehicle. You know, and most people don't want you to park near them, and it's, you know, if you're trying to park after 4 p.m., like, truck stops might be full, and you're probably going to spend, you know, an hour to 2 hours of your productive work time basically just going in circles. And most people don't ever really think about that, because why would they? Because they're not truckers, they're not drivers, you know, they don't work at a truck stop. They're not familiar with the issue, but they may see trucks parked on the on-ramps. You know, a lot of people respond to that. A lot of people have say that to us. So yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool if we could, you know, change people's minds about wanting trucks parked near them. You know,
Who closed the Amish guy?
good question. It wasn't me. It was not me. You probably would have hung up if you were talking to me.
It makes sense that the inbounds are much easier than the outbounds. I mean, I just imagine, like, I'm a property owner, and like maybe the warehouses, it's not as out of left field, so to speak. But say I got just like some land, and somebody's like, hey, like, can we like park trucks on your land? There's like, you know, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, as with all things, inbound is always easier, quote unquote, than outbound. I mean, to close deals, you know, it's not easy to generate inbound, but if you can, then that's good. But yeah, no, I mean, it's cool, man. I mean, we've got a long way to go. We've got 1,750 now, and I mean, we think that there's tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of potential locations, and we're just kind of very much focused on the here and now. Like, when we get to scale, whatever scale is, like, we're going to be able to do a bunch of really cool stuff. But we can't really worry about that too much until we're there. So we kind of just have fun, add properties, and get in front of more truckers and fleets and get them to park. So
yeah, it seems like there's a bunch of like market share, so to speak, to take, kind of like I don't know, like creating this marketplace of like fragmented truck parking. Do you guys have any competitors that are rolling out a similar model? This isn't the same, but it makes me think of like Uber, Lyft, like this kind of like that market of wide reaching. And then you guys are like the first that I know of, the first to do it. I guess wonder, is there anybody else that's kind of
I mean, there's 100%. I mean, anytime there's opportunity, there's going to be other people, you know, going after it, and that makes sense. And we don't honestly really think too much about it. Not to disrespect any of our competitors, but and I think there's also a lot of confusion about like the different kind of business models in the space. Like, we don't own or manage or lease any of the locations. We're a pure marketplace. There's other folks out there who are, you know, have a name or a brand in the truck parking space, and they're just a completely different business model than us. They might have their locations on our platform because we're just a marketplace.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I from the pure marketplace standpoint, like, there's some people doing it, and, you know, best of luck to them, basically.
Yeah, you don't need to plug their names or anything. We don't, but I'm just curious. And then also, I will say, like, me asking the question, I see Truck Parking Club everywhere, and like I'm not familiar. Like I haven't seen anybody else. So
Yeah.
And I could be like completely ignorant, but it seems like you guys have like a wide margin between you and like the next marketplace, if there is one, or whoever it might be.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're bullish on Truck Parking Club on the Two Dogs podcast, man, and we enjoyed having you on. Thanks for taking the time.
For sure.
If you guys want to tap into, we can real quick. We are coming up on kind of that hour mark that we usually close out on.
No, it's good, man. I appreciate you guys having me, and I'm bullish on you guys. I'm bullish on Matt's Colombian conquests.
Hell yeah.
Matt, you go get yourself cleaned up and go down there and make us proud. All right.
The haircut and the shave is coming soon. But I gotta get to Tennessee. I was just talking to someone the other night. There's so many people now in Chattanooga. I know I gotta get down there.
Yeah, we'll come down, bro.
So
awesome. Well, thanks again.
Man. Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll be tuned in. Looking forward to seeing you go team drivers cross country.
Thanks,
right,
guys.
All right, thanks, Reed.
Awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Well, shout out Multi-Service Fuel Card, been around since 1978. Patricia, Jessica, great people. Cards for Brokers, Black Box, Will's Company, HG Ships. If you're looking to be an agent, love to chat with you. Loadbase, we had Stan on. If you want to learn more about, go watch our episode with Stan or go to loadbase.com. Great tracking service. Sales Dash. Josh is on the golf course at TIA, Freight Specific CRM. Josh and Drew, great people, and brought to you by Taft's. Top 10 factoring company, Kansas City based. Rob, Ryan, great guys over there.
Awesome. All right, well, that'll do it for episode 53. We'll have the dog of the week out tomorrow, and we'll be back at it next week.
Sounds good. Talk soon.
All right, see you.